Hello and welcome to the Clashing of Steel. So today I'm doing a review on Leonidas, or however you pronounce him. He is really strong Greece infantry commander, mostly spears and pikes. For the first skill, Leonidas has Shield Bash. It knocks down nearby enemies, does damage to them, and has increased melee weapon damage while you're using it. Main upgrades are to increase melee weapon damage and reduce its cooldown. So in the end you can bash it every 15 seconds. For the second skill, Leonidas has Fight in the Shades. It increases your missile block while reducing your speed, your view range and your melee defense. Biggest upgrades are on missile block, view range, slightly movement speed and recharge time. This skill is not comparable to the Studo, but it will block out a lot of arrows so you can survive most ranged attacks. And for the final skill, Leonidas has Hold the Line. It affects all friendly troops in an AoE around 20 meter radius of the unit you have activated it on, and it lasts around 30 seconds. It gives them phalanx fatigue regeneration rate and morale. The phalanx regeneration rate shows how fast your troops reform. It can be upgraded to have a smaller cooldown, to last longer, to have melee defense, charge deflect, and even phalanx regeneration per attack. So enough about talk, let's head on to the gameplay. With Leonidas, I usually go for the consumable Share Wine. I feel that in a lot of situations I'm getting flanked and Hold the Line just won't cut it. I will still rout, my units will still suffer. So Share Wine gives me that extra morale that can help me a lot. The main reason it can help me is because when I push into the opponent, there's a chance that my engagement will make me take morale damage, and if there's somebody flanking me, I am pretty much cooked. There might not be a chance for me to get out. Although Hold the Line can help you there are still many moments when it doesn't cut it. But in most of my games when I'm playing Leonidas, I end up using both Share Wine and Hold the Line. It might just be for using it after my Hold the Line ends, or pull out of a situation where otherwise my unit would get routed. So first engagements seem to be going on. Well, he is disengaging, but I do use Shield Bash because it's on 24 seconds cooldown, so it will be ready rather soon. Now there are some lovely swordsmen in the forest as well, but yeah, he's gonna be disengaging with them as well. In this game it is great to see how Germanicus actually tries to counter me. Although he can't do a lot against me, he will try it. Only two wishes I have right now are the Phalanx Thrust and the Shield Bash. Well, he's hoping to flank me from the side, but I ain't that naive. I'm pulling my back against the wall. He can't flank me and I don't have to use Hold the Line or even Share Wine. So at first I thought he might try to flank my unit that has the back against the wall. But he turns around and gives me an excellent chance to use my Shield Bash. As you can see, I'm moving behind him. I set my direction right behind his units. And right now I use the Shield Bash. It took away nearly half of the remaining forces, or at least the health of those units. The Shield Bash tactic is simple. You just need to move into your opponent so that both your and your opponent's troops are smashed into each other. Then use Shield Bash and pull back out. You don't want to attack them, you want to move behind them. Otherwise, if you set your units to attack, they might not mix up. If you force yourself into your opponent by moving behind them in the phalanx formation, it will mix them up rather well and the Shield Bash will be devastating. But another skill I have is the Phalanx Thrust. That works kinda the opposite. It doesn't do a lot of damage when your units are mixed. It will do a lot of damage to area in front of your troops. It can do somewhat devastating damage, but it usually isn't as brutal as is the Shield Bash. The idea of it is that when you are in phalanx and somebody engages you, you should probably use it right when there is a small gap between your opponents and your spears. But if there isn't a small gap between them, you can pull slightly back out and then use it. After what you can go back in and use the Shield Bash. So as you can see right now, the situation is actually rather grim. Although I am pushing into my opponent, I am Shield Bashing and doing quite a lot of damage. One of my units' morale is suffering. I kinda forgot to use my Share Wine, or I messed up a bit. So one of my units routed and the other one is taking damage. But I can still hold some opponents back. My focus right now is to get my back against that rocky wall back there. The problem here is that I have remnants left, and the remnants won't defend as effectively as the whole big units. I might not be able to use them as offensively by pushing heavily into enemies and shield bashing. Although I here succeed with it, I still lose a lot of troops. So this was Leonidas on the offensive side. Another way you can play him is on the defensive or blocking off bottleneck areas to defend your ranged units or catapults or so. As you can see, there are a lot of troops coming this way. So my focus here is to block off that bottleneck area, let my archers slip through and my light artillery stay behind there. The moment that the archers are through my units, I'm gonna deploy the phalanx and spread my units a bit more out. I'm gonna hold down left alt and reform my units so that they would block off the larger area. So these few remnants that are coming this way, they have no chance. They're even pulling back, or at least the sword infantry. They can't get through here, the light artillery is firing at them and the archers will be harassing them as well. This could actually be one of the better examples, blocking off bottleneck area and harassing opponents that are coming your way. No one can come through you without suffering heavy casualties. Your shield bash and phalanx thrust can nearly destroy all opponents. So I'm gonna head on to another match. As you see again, I'm on the offensive. I'm pushing ahead, I'm going for the tower, and I'm going to support my sword infantry. It can sometimes be just painful to watch how units are stacked. What you don't want to do with spearmen or pikemen is stack them. Otherwise, if you deploy the phalanx, they might damage their own friendly troops. So fortunately, my team member is spreading out, and I'm taking the side of the hill. I'm gonna block it off and take down the barbarian infantry. We don't have any archers here, so I really don't understand why he is in the studio. Perhaps he's trying to hold it off. Ah, okay, he's going for engagement. So while the sword infantry is fighting sword infantry, I'm going to have to take down the war dogs. I removed my phalanx formation and I went in. I shield bashed the war dogs and the war dogs suffered really heavy casualties. I didn't use the shield bash right away when the opponents charged me. I waited for a few seconds for my troop to get back up and then I shield bashed them for the maximum effect. Otherwise, if I would have bashed them the moment they charged, my troops might have been knocked down and the shield bash would have been halved or even worse. And now you can see, since the opponents tried to flank the sword infantry, I can move in from the rear. I'm moving in and I'm using shield bash. I took away a lot of HP, and then again I'm fighting on two fronts. I'm fighting with the war dogs and the sword infantry. So I'm going to move my unit back there. I don't want to engage the low HP Roman infantry, because otherwise I might push my spears into friendly troops. And by doing so I would do unnecessary damage to my friendlies. So I'm trying to move around them with the phalanx and catch the armored legionnaires from the side. As you can see, the war dogs and the barbarian infantry are almost dead. The reason why the unit fighting barbarians suffered heavy casualties is because I mostly played him in phalanx. I did the first bash without phalanx because when I'm in phalanx, the war dogs can damage me quite a lot. War dogs don't take any damage from the pike phalanx or the spear phalanx, it doesn't matter which. So if you want to defeat them, you need to undeploy your phalanx. But then again, there was sword infantry there, so I had to do something. Since I bashed the dogs rather well, I went for the phalanx and went against the sword infantry. Right now you're going to see why you should not stack your units, why you shouldn't blob them. My focus here is just to deploy my phalanx and wait for him to engage. The first phalanx thrust was rather heavy, you saw the damage they took. It wasn't as huge as from the shield bash, but it was very significant. Fortunately or unfortunately, you don't have phalanx thrust on low tiers, so here comes the shield bash. I think the reason because he lost so many troops is that he tried to walk through me. He had positioned himself somewhere perhaps above the river there, perhaps near the waterfalls or so. Because he walked into me and he was in a blob, I did the maximum amount of damage I could. As I said in the beginning, you can play Leonidas with spear or pike infantry. I usually go for the spears because with pikes nobody wants to engage you. You're like poisonous, nobody wants to go near you. You don't have to pick the same consumables as I do. It's just my playstyle, I feel that I am better off with shared wine. You can pick shared rations or whetstone or whatever you think works with your playstyle. In many situations you can use Leonidas to defend your archers or slingers or so. It can pay out great, and because of the fight in the shades, no other archers or slingers can damage you that heavily. I don't suggest using phalanx and fight in the shades at the same time, otherwise your troops might just be frozen in place. If your friend is playing with archers and you want to play with him, Leonidas is probably one of the best ways you can defend him. You can hold back most infantries and shield bash your way to victory. So this was it about the review of Leonidas. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe and thanks for watching.